Is this thing on? Okay, good. Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Hi, now I can hear you. And welcome to the 514th annual Arbor NewTech meetup. Arbor NewTech meetup is brought to you by a set of organizers who are clearly represented today. Roger, will you raise your hand? Doug, will you raise your hand? Anybody else there? Wes, will you raise your hand? That's Wes.
Yeah.
The organizers are very pleased to have this room on a Monday night. We usually do this on a Tuesday night. And our sponsor, the Entrepreneur Venture Club, the Ross College School of Business, has an event in here tomorrow night, so let's all crash tomorrow. They usually have really good food. But what they don't have are 4 really awesome presentations from the entrepreneurial community. Hopefully 5 by the time the day is through. I'm going to talk about our sponsors in a moment, but while Thomas Hunter sets up his laptop, I do want to thank the rest of our sponsors. I don't have a wireless. Do I really need it?
All right.
All right, thank you. First and foremost, I want to thank HP. I think HP is awesome. I think they partnered with AMD for their ProBook promotion to get behind all these entrepreneur meetups that are going on. Yeah, hundreds of meetups in hundreds of communities, and ours is the one that they are absolutely gonna pick to award the HP ProBook by AMD prize in, is it in end of the year? Come on in.
That's Amanda.
You too, Mary. Venture gal. Hi, are you Amanda? You are. And here's one of our sponsors. Let's give it up for Amanda Chocko. Amanda is with Momentum, the Grand Rapids incubator. We bumped you from the top slot, though, Amanda. We're going to have Thomas get started, and then we're going to drop you in right after. Other of our sponsors include GE, the Eco-Imagination program at GE, Rackspace, hosting, and their fanatical support. And I mean fanatical. If you have a problem, they stay up at night worrying about it, not you. And then, of course, all of our favorite 3-letter acronyms, ZLI, EVC, CFE. These are the Zell Lurie Institute, the Entrepreneur and Venture Club, who brings us this beautiful room, and the Center for Entrepreneurship, our original home at the College of Engineering. Thomas, are we ready to rock?
Yes.
All right, Thomas is from Midland. I was up there just last month, and let me tell you, you would never imagine Midland to be such an entrepreneurial hotbed. But he thought that Ann Arbor was even cooler than Midland, so he came down here to tell us about NeoInvoice. That's his invoicing and time tracking SaaS, and a promotion. If you like what you see, you can be among the first folks to use NeoInvoice. Give it up for Thomas Hunter.
Hi everyone, I'm Tom Hunter. I'm showing you NeoInvoice. The owner of Renown Media. Did a lot of web development, but figured to go into application development as well. I apologize, I have a flu and getting out of it, and some of those things are fun.
So what is NeoInvoice? It is a time tracking invoicing web application. Everything on it you do in your browser. You can track clients, projects, teammates, time entered. Everything is done on a per project, per client, per teammate basis. You can invoice clients based on which project you've worked on, track when invoices are due, when they were paid, you put the payments, deduct from the total, etc. You can even automatically remind clients when invoices are due. You can set that up per invoice basis. Alright, target audience, pretty much any hourly service industry. Web developers like me, graphic designers, marketing people, a lot of IT stuff's hourly, business to business, a lot of that's charged hourly. Right now we've got a pricing structure out. This is all subject to change. We've got a free version. That's going to be our loss leader. It's going to get all the people to the site. Really don't want the free version to be limited. So right now the main limitation is only 1 user per user, which means you can do a lot of the application. It's a great product to use. if you have a couple people, you can probably have them share an account. But the bigger companies and companies who are more likely to pay for products such as this are going to want higher than one. So we've got an agency account for $10 a month. That gives you up to 100 users, and you'll be able to start customizing your stuff more and put your ad and the logo, your company logo. Then you get to the corporate version. That'll give you up to 1,000 users. You'll be able to go as far as to brand the entire interface and maybe even move it over to your company's domain. Another way to get this application out there is with the referral program. Through referrals, we'll be able to generate coupon codes. So these codes you'll be able to put in the sign page. Here's an example URL. That'll be prettier every time it goes live. But right now, you can go to NewInvoice.com/login-register. And if you put in the code, just for you guys, A2NewTech, you get a free year agency account. There's $20 already. You can write it down. Yeah, so once people make their own referral codes, like that's just for the applications, but approved people will make the codes, they'll put it out there, they'll put links on forums, Google Ads, spam, who cares? And so they link it and they'll link a certain commission. And commission rates can be adjusted based on volume, etc. I'm also adding a buddy system that people will be able to refer friends and get money off. Maybe integrate that in the Facebook app, spam friends, get warnings, everybody wants. There is a lot of competition for this. There's a lot of websites out there that want to do it. Freshbooks.com is our biggest competitor. Everyone's probably seen their ads before. And there's a bunch of other ones here. But it looks like a saturated market. We do offer something we don't do. A lot of the existing applications out there, their web apps look like an oversimplified, what I don't offend a lot of people, Mac OS X sort of appearance. I'm trying to offer the, not necessarily more complicated, but more features available, less simplified sort of interface. So I feel that's what it really says. No offense. So yeah, this explains what I just said there. Free version will always be good. We don't want to expire stuff. We don't want to give any major limitations, etc. We want people to come here and love it and continue signing up to other things. I don't have enough time to show the application, but here's a screenshot. You can see the interface. A lot of the competition has a different screen for every one of these, but I went ahead and put everything on one screen with different panels. Things can be resized. These aren't enough. That's that.
Tom Hunter, NeoInvoice. I'll answer that one later. I mean, that's...
This is sort of a detailed question, but can you handle different types of services for the same client? If I was doing several different things and they have different rates?
Yes, we have different work types we call them, and put them in there, you set your own hourly rates, it'll calculate the invoice cost based on those hourly rates. Yep.
Since this service doesn't really experience any benefits from like network effects, have you considered taking away the free account and or making it way more expensive?
One of the ways I was attempting to combat the competition would be the lower price. And this is cheaper than the others. I could make it more corporate themed, but that really wasn't what I was going for. The buddy system might allow it to have that networking effect, but yeah, as you know, they wouldn't receive benefit unless the person actually signed and paid for it. So,
as a follow-up, you had claimed that, or you said that one of your selling points is that you're trying to make it more features, which seems like you are going after the more corporate market, which then contradicts competing on price. Might just be something to think about.
yeah, well, I might break it up into two different parts: the small medium business and the corporate side. The corporate can be installed on servers and corporations. So all those corporations like have stuff on your phone and stuff like that.
Right here? Wayne?
Do you link with any accounting software?
Link with any accounting software.
Not yet, but I plan on integrating with QuickBooks as an API. So I think people do upload a QuickBooks form or possibly hook into their online version.
You offer a licensed version, something you can download and install behind the firewall?
Not yet. That's something I'll be looking into, but I want to encrypt the stuff. This whole thing runs on PHP MySQL, which the open source world loves, but the corporate world shuns, so that would slow that down.
Maybe an appliance version then.
Yeah.
Over here?
Is your main competitive advantage just price and features then? I say this because there was an article recently why Xiao lost some mints. Are people clamoring for these extra features, or are you trying to target a market that doesn't want these things?
I honestly built it with everything I knew I need and no bells and whistles that I knew I would never touch. I don't think it's over complicated. What's the question?
I guess it's like, is there a reason why the competition has simplified it and not added other features? And secondly, are these added features the main competitive advantage besides price that you're offering?
Okay. We don't really offer features other people don't yet. We do plan on offering a few more. The API hooks are the biggest one we plan on doing. Really the biggest feature is that all the features of the application are visible on one screen, whereas in other applications they're spread out with the click around table.
So it's really like a UI difference rather than an actual sort of like feature difference.
At this point, yeah.
Are there secondary or tertiary users for the data that you're collecting on all these agencies and all of the invoicing and the time tracking that you're doing? Or is this really the data are partitioned by account?
I plan on putting in the terms of service that we can access certain information, not specific to a certain company. And I plan on eventually selling that if there's a need. For example, a lot of service industries in the Northwest charge around $20 per hour, which is something like that. If that's what you're
Yeah, I was just wondering who are the secondary and tertiary users for your data?
that I'm not sure. I don't know.
Okay. Doug?
I mean, in a pretty crowded market like this, it always helps to have like a distribution partner or some sort of channel to reach your customers, right? Do you have any killer integrations that provide that for you? Like,
I do know a few affiliate marketers, and I do know they would like the affiliate marketing, make money by referring people. Other than that, no.
In a race to the bottom, there's not much margin left to pay an affiliate. Last question.
And besides referrals and buddy system, what's your customer acquisition strategy, like especially?
Louder, please.
What's the customer acquisition strategy besides just referrals?
Customer acquisition strategy outside of referrals.
Well, I'll give presentations in places like this. Then I'm putting forums. I know several entrepreneurs and targeting them.
Tom Hunter, NeoInvoice. Thank you very much.
Oh,
He's going to use your speaker.
okay.
All right, cool. So I first met Amanda. Where did we first meet? Here. Yeah. And we talked about our incubators. I'm actually going to be in Grand Rapids on Wednesday. Yeah, well, I'm back often enough that it'll, not this week, it'll be another week. And the West, I used to say about Grand Rapids that it was the Utah of Michigan. But Utah's got a great economy. All right, I'm getting this. Plugged in, and Doug knows how to make it work. All right, thank you. So I want to take a moment here to introduce to all the other organizers, Doug, Wes, Roger. I'm David Bloom. We've been doing A2NewTechs for the benefit of this room. So at any time, you would be up here giving this talk, and what would you want? You would want really good questions. You would want to get fellow technology entrepreneurs to I hate to say it, but to poke holes in your plan, to ask the probing kind of incisive questions that make you even better. But then also, you're going to be sitting back there next month, and then the next 5 are going to come up here, and you're going to ask them, you're going to return the favor and ask them those hard questions. So I want to hear 5 minutes and then 5 minutes of hard questions for Amanda Chocko from Momentum.
Thank you. Yes, I'm Amanda Chocko. I'm the program director for Momentum. And Momentum is a Grand Rapids-based venture incubator that provides seed investments, intellectual capital, and extensive mentorship to internet technology companies. Each year, we invite 5 companies to participate in a 12-week program where we invest $20,000 into their company, help them to develop their product, introduce them to early customers, help them refine their business strategies, and connect them to people and resources that will help quickly accelerate them to market. Momentum was founded by Rick DeVos. Some of you may know him from Art Prize, some of you may be familiar with the DeVos family. And it is a partnership between his incubator, Pomegranate Studios, and the investment firm, the WinQuest Group. We also have a core group of mentors that work with the companies on a daily basis, and a pool of over 20 advisors that have expertise in various business, technology, law, different areas of business. We are entering our 3rd funding cycle, and we have funded 7 companies to date, 5 of which are still very active, and 3 that have gone on to raise additional funding. And you may recognize some of them have pitched here before this event. And along with our companies, we have learned a few lessons along the way. One being that even with great ideas and working prototypes and excellent business plans and polished investor pitches, it is still really, really hard to get investors to take interest in early stage companies. So that is why we have decided to make some changes to our programming going forward. First thing we're going to change is we're not going to spend a whole lot of time writing business plans or practicing investor pitches, because at the end of the day, it really doesn't mean squat. Instead, we are going to focus on building a functional prototype, testing customer adoption, testing pricing and distribution channels, refining messaging, and building a repeatable sales process. We're going to accomplish this by incorporating lean startup methodologies into our programs. Anybody familiar with lean startup? Eric Ries, Steve Blank, there are a bunch of other gurus. And what that is, basically, it's agile product development in tandem with customer development to test your market assumptions. So the teams will be continuously iterating based on early customer, early evangelist feedback, and pivoting until at the end of the program they will have a product market fit, as opposed to building something in stealth mode with a big launch based on assumptions, aka business plan. Another new thing that we're introducing, realizing that companies probably are still a little early for investors, is companies will have the opportunity to come into a Momentum Phase 2, where they'll receive additional investment of up to $300,000, and that will be capital investment along with human capital and intellectual capital. And what that's really meant to do is help them improve their product, get market penetration, and get enough traction and revenue to then be attractive to investors. And then we'll begin to make those introductions. We're looking for innovative, scalable, web-based tech ideas, passionate and talented teams of 2 to 3. Teams must have a tech founder and a business founder to get accepted. But because we do often receive really great ideas from entrepreneurs that don't necessarily have the technology capabilities, we are accepting applications from programmers, hackers that would be interested in working with a startup and possibly becoming a co-founder. and we will begin to facilitate those introductions early in the application process and let those relationships happen organically. Teams must be willing to relocate to Grand Rapids for the 12 weeks of the program, must be 100% focused on the program, and must be committed to sticking with the launch of their product and their company once the program is over. Interested in applying? Momentum-mi.com.
Amanda Chocko, Momentum. Why the move to Grand Rapids? Are you getting local monies that have a jurisdictional boundary on it? Like we see this with Tech Town and Automation Alley, and what's the one in town called? Right, that one.
Well, Rick DeVos, his family's based in Grand Rapids, so that's why it's located there. But we accept applications from all over the country, the world. We are also expanding our network of investors outside of the region. We're also making connections with incubators in the Bay Area and connecting with other venture incubators in the Midwest to try to form a network and pool our resources and our talent, and also mitigate risk for investors that may want to come into that network.
Awesome. Over here.
Can you talk a little bit more in detail about what you look for in founders?
Well, in the early stages, the founders are probably one of the most important things that we look at. So we definitely look at people that have really thought through their idea, that are innovative, that are risk takers. We don't do it before we choose, but after we do some team testing, or at least we do Colby testing to see how the teams can interact and try to allocate some resources to fill gaps for them. But we're definitely looking for people that are really excited and passionate about what they're doing, and know their market as well, and have the ability to pull it off, both technically and conceptually.
Any Momentum alums involved in this Accelerate Michigan hoo-ha that we're hearing about next month?
No, I don't believe so. One of our companies received funding from the Michigan Pre-Seed Fund downstream. I believe Aaron comes here often, and he pitched downstream, but I'm not sure if any of them applied, and I haven't heard whether or not they're participating. Yes?
What percentage do you take for the 20K?
8%.
How do you evaluate what teams to bring into the program without like a business plan or a written document explaining the founders and the goals?
Well, we don't do it blindly. There is an application process. So there's a written application, and then there's a 90-second pitch that you will upload, and those get narrowed down to the top 25. And then you'll receive a blank pitch deck, but it's really just for your hypothesis. You don't have to go into a full-blown investor pitch, but it's just how much have you thought through your product, your market, the problem you're solving, how you plan on making money. And then we help you test those assumptions once you hit the program. But we have a good idea of what the idea of the team is through the application process.
What's your acceptance rate? For N applications, how many get?
Well, the first year we were relatively unknown and received 28 applications, and we ended up piloting with 3 companies. Last year we received 50 applications, and we ended up with 4, although we did accept 5. One team dropped out because they lost their tech founder. We're hoping to hit 100 applications this year, and then we pick 5. That's the
is it a seasonal, like everybody does the same 12 weeks, or is it rolling?
It's the same 12 weeks. The program always starts in May and ends at the end of July, and then phase 2 will be in 6 to 9 months. Yes.
When you say mentorship, where does that come from? Is that from former business owners, local businesses, so forth?
Yes, it's entrepreneurs. The core leadership team, Rick DeVos, Bill Holsinger Robinson, Mike Moore, and Dana Beal, they're the mentors that work day to day with the companies on a holistic approach. But then we have expertise in all areas. So we work with tech entrepreneurs, investors, legal people, marketing people, branding people, developers. We work closely with Atomic Objects and Collective Idea, which are 2 firms over on the west side. So, And we are reaching out beyond that as well right now, trying to forge some relationships. I'll be around later if anyone has questions.
Amanda, thanks for coming out. Amanda Chocko from Augmented. All right, while Chad gets set up, Chad, David, are you both here? Good. I wanted to begin the process of opening up the floor for announcements of entrepreneurial activities during Global Entrepreneur Week, which is last week. Sorry, we were the third week of the month. Global Entrepreneur Week is the second week of the month. So, it's not like entrepreneurialism stops, ever. If you've been involved in a startup, it's like 90-hour weeks and no sleep. So, what activities are coming up in the time that it takes David and Chad to get their laptops set up that we want to begin the process of telling each other about, and then I'll do this again on the next break. Go ahead.
This is a service announcement for entrepreneurs, and if you've been here several weeks ago to repeat, the Ann Arbor chapter of the American Statistical Association will be offering free classes on statistical software, SAS, SPSS, doing statistics in Excel, R, Stata, possibly JUMP, and Microsoft Access in the winter semester. Just Google Ann Arbor ASA. You'll find our website, and my email address is there to sign up. The classes are free and open to all.
And now, without further ado or presentation, Chad Stark and David Spiro, two boys from New Jersey, are going to come up and tell us why they like to walk on the beach in Michigan. And they're going to also talk about Webwise, which is their online contact management and message routing platform. Let's give it up for Chad and David.
The wave of the future is instant messaging. By 2013, 95% of all employees of Global 100 organizations will use the IM interface as their primary source of business communication. However, this presents a few key challenges. Number one, instant messaging networks are fragmented with overlapping user bases. Number two, people can now access the IP through multiple platforms, and they prefer many different networks over these platforms. Number three, companies seeing this trend are beginning to purchase IM enterprise solutions of their own, and these networks are fragmented and separate from the private sector as well. Nonetheless, people are inherently social and continue to use their preferred networks because of the network effect. In an ideal world, there would be a single communication network where each user had one identity and could contact any of their contacts using any medium, any device, at any time. But in the real world, these communication networks are fragmented, overlapping, and evolving. Webwise is a cloud-based message routing infrastructure that gives the user the experience of an ideal communication network in the presence of their current preferred networks.
So now to illustrate this little, I'm going to give you a little example. Let's say David's at home on his computer in his office, and I'm in class on my computer. We both like using iChat, so we like that interface. So iChat is our preferred network, given the situation that we're in on our computers. My class just ended, so I close my computer and start walking home. In today's world, David will get indicated that I've signed off of iChat and will no longer be able to reach me unless he has another piece of my contact information, another one of my identities. With Webwise, the conversation will continue on seamlessly from David's end, and all the messages that he's sending will get routed to my new preferred network. So if I'm walking home back to my apartment and I'm on my phone and I like using BlackBerry Messenger, let's say, then the messages from his iChat will get routed to my BlackBerry Messenger. Now, although this is cool in the private sector, the real value of Webwise lies in our small, medium business and enterprise level solutions. So for example, let's say Reed's Rental has a UCC system in place. If Reed is experiencing a problem with Microsoft Word, then he's able to instantly message his support desk, so in real time they're able to respond and he can fix the problem. Now let's say he's having a problem with a customized CRM package. Currently he's going to have to contact his purchasing agent, who will then tell him the appropriate vendor contact to reach. Then he'll have to draft an email, send that email, and then periodically check Microsoft Outlook to see when he gets a response. With Webwise, Reed will be able to enter the appropriate external CRM vendor support contact into his UCC system upon the purchase of this software. and then he will then be able to instantly message the appropriate person at all times from any device that he is currently using. Now, to take it a step further, let's say this external vendor is also a Webwise user. When Reed sends messages to the appropriate individual, those messages will get to him or her instantly on whatever device that they're using. Now, we realize that technological powerhouses like Google, Facebook, and BlackBerry are going to realize and have begun realizing the benefits of message routing infrastructures and cross-network interoperability. We're saying that their solutions are inherently flawed because they require users to interact with their interfaces. So Facebook, for example, had a huge press release today about a new platform they have called New Messaging. We're saying that that system is flawed because they require people to use the Facebook interface on any device with which they interact. Users, in actuality, have different preferred networks on different screens, and we accommodate those users.
Currently, we are tenants of this year's Tech Arb session. We're also semifinalists for Michigan Accelerate. We plan on entering a bunch of the other Michigan competitions, business competitions like NBC. Our team consists of Chad and myself. We're juniors in the business school. We also have an MBA entrepreneurial consultant who we consider a founding member, and he is our product lead team developer. We also have 4 undergraduate CSE majors who are willing and able to work with us. We're looking right now for a pro developer to sit in between our entrepreneurial consultant and these 4 CSEs to really make this project jump off. That leaves us where we are.
All right, Chad and David, Webwise. Tom Molka, he's a professional developer. I'm sorry, did you have a question?
Yeah.
Go.
Can you compare and contrast with Jabber?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so Jabber is a protocol that many of these chat interfaces use to connect with the networks that are out there, multiple chat networks. But again, it all goes back to the user's preferred networks. So although many different interfaces communicate with the Jabber protocol, at the end of the day, they're asking these users to interact on their proprietary client. And that's an organizational goal that we are trying to remove from telecommunications.
Here and then here.
In regards to a couple of things that we're trying to, I work for Michigan State University, and some of the things that we deal with is open standards and things like that. So for us, there's a huge push towards moving towards CIPS and CIPI, and also towards open Jabber client, not necessarily Jabber the company. How would you say that your systems interact with those? And the second question I had as well is, how do you plan on dealing with some of the intellectual property rights of companies like RIM and AOL and places like that who keep on trying to evolve their standards in order to avert companies like yourself?
So in terms of the proprietary information of those companies, with Webwise, the user will subscribe to our service and subscribe their identities with username and password and create essentially a federated cloud of themselves. By giving us their username and password, they're allowing us to pick their messages and route them to where it is most preferred for them to receive them. And now that is our proprietary web presence engine, which is very similar to a rich presence engine that many UCC systems now use. Additionally, what was the other part of the question?
The first question was about the push towards open standards, like using CIPS and like the open Jabber line or open Jabber protocol.
Well, we actually intended in coming today, we were going to bring our mentor, who is the Chief Technology Officer at this point. We're both business students, so a question like that we'd love to talk to you further about after this, and if you have any questions, we'll exchange information.
In the back?
Yeah, I was wondering, like Google's chat is actually based on like XMPP, which is like an open standard, and they basically authenticate just on their own system. I guess how do you plan to compete with that when it's like already integrated in like Gmail?
So this goes back to what I mentioned in the pitch, the inherent flaw of the routing infrastructures from these large technological powerhouses. Gmail, for example, they've allowed you to subscribe an iChat identity through Gmail into your GChat contact list and allow people to message your iChat identity which will get, and then when you receive a message, it will get presented to you in GChat. However, this requires that users, one, have a Google account, have a Gmail account, and two, like interacting on the Google interface. We're saying that, yes, many people probably do like to interact on this interface, just as many people like to interact with the interface of Facebook, or maybe they prefer to interact with the interface of iChat. We're saying as long as users have different preferred networks with which they like to interact with, our business still has value, because we're providing a service to them that they're not able to use on the clients that they prefer.
And so going back to your question about integrating with services like BBM and those type of networks.
Right over here.
Where's the revenue come from?
So the revenue stream comes from our small business and enterprise premium service. We operate on a freemium model. For business plan purposes, I'm glad that you guys hate business plans. We're forced to include the fact that we're going to be charging for the individual user to pay for a routing service, but really we're going to offer a basic routing for free to individual users. That way we can prove the value of our third-party technology and then use that to allow SMBs to integrate their networks and give the experience of UCC that they wouldn't be able to purchase now, because UCC systems are very, very expensive.
I got the last question. I'm an enterprise user. Talk to me about storage, filtering, monitoring, tracking, and subpoenas.
Well, right now,
or you're not an enterprise provider.
Well, so you go.
Yeah. So again, our business plan covers more than just the immediate, the present. We immediately want to prove our third-party infrastructure, and then with appropriate funding, we would be able to communicate with enterprises and provide that secure, private, archived, exactly what you just went over.
Awesome sauce. Thank you very much. David and Chad from... You know, you told me you didn't have slides, and I just, I see a laptop. You got me trained. All right. Thank you for the pitch on American Statistical Association. Here's some events that are coming up in the coming month before our next A2NewTech meetup. And the one that David and Chad mentioned, congratulations, guys. There are 49 companies in this state out of 300 who entered who are going to be where these guys are December 9th through the 11th. They're going to be at, does anybody know what the NCRC is? I know you know, Wes. This is the old Pfizer campus that the U of M bought and turned it into their North Campus Research Complex. Thank you. And they're playing host December 9th through the 11th through the Accelerate Michigan semifinals. That's Thursday and Friday, the 9th and the 10th of December, with the finals, a series of 5-minute pitches by the folks who won the first 2 days beauty pageant on Saturday morning, the 11th. More information, accelerate.michigan.org. Is this ready to rock? All right, here's a couple others. The CFO Roundtable is the 16th. That's tomorrow. Holy cow. And also tomorrow for folks who are alumni of Sparks Entrepreneur Bootcamp and the rest of us who are actually alumni of IT Zone's Entrepreneur Bootcamp. That bootcamp celebration, all alumni are welcome, is also tomorrow afternoon. Details at AnnArborUSA.org. An error occurred. Boy, that never happens on a demo, right? All right, so I'm supposed to vamp at this point. The Michigan Energy Forum. Who's interested in the Michigan Energy Forum? Oh, come on! Yeah, I knew you were interested. Michigan Energy Forum is the first? It's the first, right, Wes? Come on, you're keeping me honest, right? You're just going to let me die up here, okay. Yeah. And then the 14th, December 14th, we have the usual second Tuesday bookend activities at Sparks Central. In the morning, open coffee. It is the licensed schmooze fest of the Entrepreneurial Week. And then that evening, Nights of the Marketing Roundtable. Don Hart is going to give a talk on marketing value of video. I know that works, because I just heard it. All right. I want to introduce my close and personal friend, Tim Sefton. He is a father of 5 from Bloomfield, but I don't want you to hold it against him. What he's got is an app that runs on an iPhone, and it's for your exercise bike, it's for your elliptical trainer. The faster you go, the faster the video goes. This is We on Steroids. Let's give it up for Tim Sefton and YUBE.
Thank you. tonight I just want to introduce you to the YUBE. It's a augmented reality application for the iPhone, and we like to say travel the world without leaving the gym. So I've got a short 1-minute overview, and then I'll do a little demo.
Thank you, guys.
YUBE is based on a simple premise. Indoor exercise can be cool or positive. Nobody likes to be stuck inside and biking or hiking outside. That's why we created the
network.
Ross Light.
That's why we created the YUBE.
Don't go to sleep on it.
YUBE. Immerse yourself.
So Ross Light doesn't handle YouTube very well.
What is YUBE? The YUBE is an iPhone app that plays videos on your TV or projector, plays your playlist, and moves at the
Speed of your exercise.
Yeah, we see that.
Doug, pause it, let it buffer for a while.
Yeah.
Tim, vamp a little bit, then we'll get to your 1 minute.
All right. You know, we can actually just pause it. Just take it from here. So the YUBE is an iPhone app, and it allows you to basically improve or immerse yourself while you're doing stationary exercise, either in a spinning class, on an elliptical machine, on a treadmill, whatever it might be, even on a rowing machine. So what you do is you take your iPhone, you get a little arm strap. See if I get the demo going here. Select the YUBE, and then you're given a choice of videos and a choice of playlists from your iPod. And you select whatever it might be. On here I have Paris, and I also have a bike race. So let's see if we can get Paris to work. And I did not quite have the right cable, so we need to shut that off. Is that going to work?
Took that down.
And we'll see if we can give you a little demo here. So I picked the video out, and I picked the playlist, and as you see if we can get it to come on here. I just have a little portable projector I brought just in case there was an issue there.
You all hear that? That was a joke.
And then as you select the video, and we'll just select Paris here, it comes up on your TV or projector, and then as you move, the speed of your movement is integrated to the speed of the video. As you stop, the video stops. The faster you go, the faster the video goes. And this is video of Paris, and this projector is a little dim here. It'd be a little better. You want a different video? You could pick a different video, maybe a bike race if you're in a spinning class. And once again, as you pick up your speed, the video picks up, and you're actually part of the environment, working with the people. And the faster you go, the faster the video goes, and the slower you go, the slower it goes. So that just gives you a quick demo of it. As far as the why we think it's cool is, one, it's machine independent, right? You could be on a treadmill, as I mentioned, a spinning machine, whatever it might be, but yet the actual market or the actual interest can be very specialized. It can be a bike race. You can do the Tour de France. You can run the New York City Marathon, whatever it might be. In our business model, we have the app selling on iTunes for $4.99. Then the videos on top of that are additional revenues on a one-time hit. And then it makes for a nice advertising platform because you've got the user for probably 15 to 45 minutes. Where we are right now, we have version 1 in iTunes. We have about 5 videos up there. We have about 35 fans on Facebook. So if you like the YUBE, check it out and come on and see us on Facebook or somewhere else. Thank you.
Tim Sefton, YUBE. Tim, I saw you moving your iPhone around. Is this linked to the accelerometer in the iPhone? Is that how you get your speed?
Exactly.
Very cool. Is there an opportunity for me to upload my own videos, or they're all yours?
Well, what we do is we do take videos from different people throughout the world, and we develop a content provider relationship with them. So today, a lot of the helmet cams are high def, and they have a pretty wide angle, so they do work pretty well for this application. So absolutely, we have some relationships with folks in different places around the world.
All right, is that a content community, or are you republishing, licensing?
We're republishing, right? But there is a commission that goes back to the content provider.
Very cool. Just want to watch me interview him, or okay, go ahead.
So, in theory, it's just on your wrist or whatever. I mean, you're not going to be watching like this. Shaking, or are you projecting to something like you were? Or?
Absolutely, it can hook up to your TV or projector or whatever it might be. The video is output out of the port on the iPhone to whatever device. It could be a big screen TV, can be a projector like that, or just a regular TV, whatever it might be.
Just real quick on that note, have you thought about building it for Android and kind of integrating it into like Google TV and the new?
We of course would like to move to another platform in time. We want to integrate it with actually the database that Google has, Street View, so you could actually pick your route virtually and then travel through that route. But that's probably going to be version 2 or so.
Yellow shirt, ball cap.
So when I'm going faster, does it feel like I'm going faster? Or does it feel like I'm like fast forwarding through?
It changes the frame rate of the video. You don't change events in the video at all, so they're fixed. You're just speeding that video up. So as you notice of those folks pedaling, they're actually pedaling. They look like they're pedaling faster. Everyone's moving faster. Does that answer your question?
Here, then there.
It's real video. It's not a simulated video. It's real video, and we're changing the frame rate as a function of the speed of the user, whether it be on your arm or your leg or wherever.
When you're doing user testing, have you found that like the accelerometer in the iPhone is a good enough indicator? Because I could see someone like running a lot faster, but maybe not moving their arms that much faster, or like not moving their arms that much at all, so it would like it's slow.
Yeah, it definitely is a good enough indicator. The issue with the exercise is not so much the amplitude of it, it's the periodic nature. So whatever kind of exercise you're doing, it's a very periodic motion. Just the nature of stationary exercise. So that's what we pick up, and definitely the accelerometer is giving you enough for that.
How much space do these videos take up on my device?
A lot. They take up about 500 megabytes.
Who's your competition?
Well, we have some companies sell videos for like a spinning class or for biking. And you put that as in your DVD and you just watch it. But it has a fixed music set, and there's no integration to the actual exercise. So that's our competition today.
In the back?
Have you actually thought about making it like OpenGL based or something where it's actually like an immersive game versus just like a video?
Where you'd actually have a simulated landscape?
Yeah, it'd be like a 3D blank or whatever the game you're at.
Right, there actually is a company, and this might be a way of, actually they're out of business, but it's a company that has a simulated bike course, and you rode through that. What we like about this is real places, real things, and you can actually, you can almost touch it.
Who remembers Young Fitness from the very first few A2NewTech meetups when we were at North Campus? They did what you just described with, and they are out of business. In the back?
How about heart rate? Heart rate monitor.
Heart rate, well, you might have somebody who is very fit, where they have a particular speed of exercise and their heart rate is not that much. You might have someone else who's very unfit and they're walking and their heart rate is just going a mile a minute. So we wanted to grab the actual motion of the body as an indicator of the speed of the user.
Last question in the back.
Perhaps a similar question is if you found a way to use the technology to
that once again is something we hope to get to, but two versions. One is a good-looking woman comes out after you finish the first half mile and says, "Come on, you can make it the next half." And then the second version is a drill instructor who's there who pops in at a quarter mile and says, "Pick it up and get to it."
Tim Sefton from YUBE. And there will be an opportunity to hit up Tim after the session. We always have these beautifully catered afterglows, but of course this time we're just going to be out in the lobby. And for our final presentation of the day, who was here for Ignite 4 in this very room? Was that a great show? I can't hear you. Yes, it was a great show. Ignite was brought by one of our longtime sponsors, A2 Geeks, brings the Ignite programs as well as A2NewTech to this building. And our, I think the 13th or 16th presenters was Nancy, who just forget a few of the slides that you saw because you're going to see them again, and I want you to still be surprised. But it's an all-new presentation. Nancy's bringing U of M Startup Weekend to life the weekend of January 21st, 2011. I want you, everybody, get out your iPhones and put that one in there. That weekend at the Innovatrium on South University, she's going to tell you all about what Startup Weekend is about. Who was at Startup Weekend in 08? Oh yeah, you're going to get all of these guys. Okay. Nancy Xiao.
So, Startup Weekend, you might be wondering, what is this nonsense? What is this test tube full of these little alien-looking things? But in actuality, it's a great event. And what we provide is we provide experiential education for entrepreneurs. So experiments such as these can be avoided. And so I know each and every one of you sitting in this audience right now, your weekend of January 21st is really free right now. There's no way you have anything booked. And so now you do. Now you have something booked, and it'll be Startup Weekend. And so we can't do this without a lot of different partners. So Startup Weekend is actually a worldwide organization. It's a few years old right now, and we work with a lot of different partners. We work with the Kauffman Foundation, Girls in Tech, bigger companies like Amazon, Microsoft, or even startups like Twilio, which two of their founders are actually graduates of the University of Michigan.
All three.
All three? Okay.
Ann Arbor.
And so what we do is we help people figure out if the startup life is really for them, or if they just want to try out an idea, or figure out what they exactly want to do with their startup, so they can get certain results. Like maybe I want to quit my job at Boeing, I'm done with this, I'm going to start a startup right now. Or maybe, hell no, this isn't going to happen. So it all started in 2007 with Andrew Hyde in Boulder, Colorado. And what he wanted to do was he wanted to provide a way for people to experiment with startups in a not fully committed way. So they could just spend a weekend on a project, not really have to devote their entire year or life to it. The first Startup Weekend actually happened in January 2008 in Seattle, where I'm originally from. And there was no publicity at all, but over 100 people showed up. And it was a complete disaster. So what happened was, all of these 100 people showed up, and what did they do? They worked on a single project. So can you imagine having over 100 people working with you in this little cubicle, or going out to lunch with over 100 people? I didn't think so. And so what they did was they worked on a project called SkillBit. So second time around, they decided to modify the way things were done a little bit. So from then on, there were about 50 pitches. The average team size was from 2 to 12 people versus over 100. So this was able to go a lot more smoothly. And since then, Startup Weekend has been able to perfect the way things are done, and it's been able to be hosted in cities around the world. In 2009, Mark and Clint, two of the main guys at Startup Weekend now, took over the organization from Andrew. In 2010, just last month, the Kauffman Foundation provided hundreds of thousands of dollars to the Startup Weekend organization in the form of a grant. So here's a bit of a run-through on exactly how it works. So on Friday night, you go in. If you have an idea, you can pitch to everybody in the room, just in a room like this. Or if you don't have an idea, you can listen, you can kind of pick out what you're interested in. And so then by Friday night, you will have formed teams. So everybody who has an idea gets around the room, and people figure out what exactly they want to work with, or maybe they don't want to work with this. And by the end of it, the top 10 teams with the most votes or most interested team members will actually end up becoming a project. On Saturday, you work all day. So usually mentors will come in. We'll have people from the community come in to kind of help out the startup, see how everything's going. And by the way, food is provided for the entire weekend. And on Sunday, what happens is you continue to work, and by Sunday night, that's when the demos start. So everybody gets together with their teams again, and they get back into this big room, and they show off their product, and usually with a few glitches, but that's okay. It always turns out to have some really, really cool products and really cool ideas that come out of it.
1 minute.
So there have been some really great stories that come out of this. There's been a lot of companies that have raised money, been sold, continue to form companies in the future. But it's not all about that. So Startup Weekend has been seen in over 100 cities with over 125 organizers, and over 2,100 people have gone back and done it more than once. And so we've actually been able to work with over 14,000 attendees as of 2010. So you might be saying, now I want to hear about this Michigan version. So what's going on is January 21st to 23rd, now in your calendars, I'm sure. Empower, the biggest undergraduate entrepreneurial organization on campus, is hosting and sponsoring the first Startup Weekend at the University of Michigan. We'll also be working with the Center for Entrepreneurship, the Entrepreneur and Venture Club, and the Zell-Leary Institute. And so our main goal here is to open it up to the community. We want as many of you guys to come. We want developers, we want biz people, we want anybody interested in experiencing a startup or doing a startup who has an idea to come in and share this with the students. And so what we want to do is we want to provide a great event that ends up with a result like this, unlike this, and you guys better be there for January 21st.
This is our audience for Startup Weekend. Let's give it up for Nancy. Startup Weekend 08, 98 attendees, 39 pitches, 13 teams, 12 graduates. I think we can do better.
Yes, I think so.
All right, who's got questions for Nancy Xiao? Over here.
With the teams, especially the teams that have been funded, how did the teams end up breaking down equity? Is there time for breaking down who gets what based on who works on what and things like that?
So we try to ignore that during the actual process.
Yep.
We want to focus on the actual building of the company. And what happens is we try and just ignore any legal questions because it just doesn't make sense.
And lawyers are not even allowed in the room.
Some people end up dropping off or they just don't want to continue with the product. So usually the team will get together afterwards and decide.
Doug?
Well, that seems a major liability, though, not to have the legal stuff worked out. That's actually one of my biggest complaints, actually, about the original Startup Weekend. Was it with the I think it was 5 or 6% stake that the organization got in every founding company. Right. I know that's gone now, but back then it was a major point of contention, I think, for folks to have their cap tables predefined for them and have an organization that is basically hosting a bunch of other folks coming together take a piece of it.
And Momentum charges 8%?
Well,
all right,
for a
Wisdom
little
U is.
investment. I don't know if people can do that.
All right. So there's any number of ways that the entrepreneurial weekend warrior can dip her toe in the water, and this one is.
So that's the system. That was the system from back in 07 when we first started, and so now Startup Weekend doesn't take anything; they just give to the entrepreneurs. But how it works is I've been to a few kind of all over the place. In Seattle, we did have a few lawyers that would come in, kind of chat. Some of them also played a role as mentors as well to answer any of those questions. We also have a handout about legal issues, and so we answer pretty much all the possible questions you could have, and we'll be giving them to attendees.
Right here? Don't wave at me if you don't have a question. Think of a question. Ed? Well, everybody wants to wave at me, but no one has a question. Hi. All right, so there's nobody here who's an alumni. Oh, thank you. Please, stand up, state your name. What's your question?
Nick Wachowski, how much does it cost to attend?
So right now, that's what we're working on. What we're looking for is we're looking for sponsorships. We're looking for companies that want to be involved. We're looking for mentors, all those types of things. You can come up to me after this and talk a little bit about it. But right now, we're looking at between, I would say, $20 and $30. And there may be a discount code for you A2NewTech people.
How will we get that code, Nancy?
Next month.
Rock.
Where's Kyle Mulca? Because he just did 2
Kyle's over there.
Yeah. Mulca,
oh, you know, Twilk came out of Startup Weekend, didn't it?
No. But Kyle's a veteran of the last 2 Detroit Startup Weekends. One which just happened this past weekend, right?
Do you want me to talk about that?
Yeah. Want to say a word about that?
We'll get to you. Really, we will.
So I attended both Detroit Startup Weekends. I actually was at that original Startup Weekend in Seattle, the SkillBit one. It was kind of a train wreck. 50 developers, 100 people total. We tried to split things up and nothing really came together at the end, but whatever. So the last 2 Detroit Startup Weekends, we had about 10 teams each. This Detroit Startup Weekend was literally just this weekend, yesterday. So the company I worked on, the first Startup Weekend was called SiteFog, kind of cloud computing based on JavaScript in people's web browsers as they were viewing people's pages. You can look at the video online, but I also presented here at A2NewTech. And then the startup that we worked on this weekend, it was called Grutive. It was kind of like your friends can suggest activities to do tonight, and then you can kind of pick which ones you want to do, and then it kind of sorts them based on that. I don't know if the video is up of that yet, but it's a lot of fun. I would recommend anyone who is interested in participating in a startup in the future, or just anybody interested in startups, come to Startup Weekend. It's probably the best event ever. Probably even better than this one, but I don't want to.
You're out of here, Kyle. Last question.
I guess for people who provide services for startups, I'm a tester, I do freelance QA. Is there any space for that kind of thing? Should I just come as an attendee, join a team, and be part of that, or
come join a team?
But I'm wondering, is there any space for those of us who are there to help those kind of companies?
Well, there's participants and there's mentors.
Sure.
Whatever.
Is there any a third?
Yeah, you could be a mentor, and so that's something we're looking for people who might not want to work on a business directly, but want to still be involved. So you can do that. When you purchase a ticket, we'll be breaking it down by, you can label yourself. If you're a developer or all around, I kind of do everything, or business development, just so we kind of get a better sense of who's there and how we can divide up the work.
Nancy Xiao from U of M, Startup Weekend, January 21st. All right, and thank you, Doug Song, for donating his laptop for our presenters. For you wannabe presenters out there, and I'm talking to you through Roger's camera, bring a laptop. Thank you.
And a dongle.
And a dongle, right.
If it's a Mac.
I'm out of entrepreneurial events. You got me all the way down to Michigan Energy Forum. We heard the stats event. What else we got? Doug?
This Friday, so we usually do a 4th Friday Beer 30 with the Tech Brewery, which is a little bit bigger. The Tech Brewery.
Thank you.
All right, so at the Tech Brewery, if you go to techbrewery.org, you'll find more about it. We do a weekly Friday beer meetup at 4:30 every Friday, but the 4th Friday is usually a little bit bigger. Because of Thanksgiving, we're doing it this Friday instead. But it'll be a little bigger than usual. We have a bunch of investors and other folks coming out from the Bay Area, from Chicago, and so forth, angel and venture investors. So if anyone wants to come out and drink some beer and hang out, please RSVP on the site and come join us.
The site is techbrewery.org.
Yep.
What else we got? Tom, you don't come to Ann Arbor for no reason. What do you got?
I've already started working on Future Midwest for next year.
Okay,
The guys who are doing the organizing of that are getting commitments from venture capitalists. They're going to be giving away, I think, $50,000 at the event based on pitches done there. So look for that in the April of 2011.
Website?
Future Midwest.
Future Midwest.
So I think it's still last year's counters.
Michigan Emerging is on the website.
Oh, stand up and use your back of the room voice. Go on.
Michigan Emerging is in Dearborn on Wednesday. I'm not organizing it, so I don't know a lot about it, but it's michiganemerging.com. I know there's a panel about raising money, a lot of talk about emerging technology and how we can use that emerging technology to reshape Michigan.
Over here.
For anybody who wants to make the trip to Lansing, on December 14th, we're going to be doing a demo camp. Website is barcamp.org/democamplansing.
Demo Camp Lansing 2, all mushed together?
All mushed together, yeah.
Okay. The number 2.
Number 2, yeah. We're doing call for speakers right now, and then general admission will be opening up in a few weeks.
That's a busy Tuesday. Yost, do you have anything? Thank you very much. It's A2NewTech for November 2010. We stand adjourned.